Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiots talk about movies. And today, we're going to share some sad stuff. But you're going to hear me take a fat shit on Halloween Kills. Just a reminder that there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows that you may have not seen yet. So just know that you've been warned. We also need to mention that there is a trigger warning for gore and extreme violence, and listeners' discretion is advised.
Yeah, especially for this movie.
Hell yeah, brother.
Now, Isaiah, before we begin, why don't you tell us a little bit about today's sponsor?
Yes, let me tell you about today's sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Shaker and Spoon, a monthly subscription service that will teach you how to mix bar quality cocktails from recipes designed by award-winning mixologists, all while exposing you to the flavors and combinations, demonstrating a range of each spirit can do. This season, we have been reviewing the what the hell does that say? Mezcal. How do you pronounce that?
Has he not?
Halloween.
Mezcal Halloween. I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic. Just like my father.
Almost made me spit my beer out. Oh my god!
I hope that beer was with Shaker and Spoon. We've been reviewing Mezcal Halloween 2, Agave's Revenge.
Mezcal Halloween.
Mezcal Halloween.
Halloween 2.
Mezcal Halloween 2.
We are so sorry, Shaker and Spoon.
Yeah, we can't. We're all homeschool here, okay?
Except Lewis.
Yeah, except Lewis. Mezcal Halloween.
Yes!
2. Agave's Revenge box. All right, we can't stop talking about how great the service is. We also can't stop about how we can't pronounce words here on this podcast. If you like your own box of Shaker and Spoon, you can also get drunk with us. You can head on over to shakerandspoon.com and use the promo code SIPS10 to get $10 off your first subscription. Again, that's promo code SIPS10 to get $10 off your first subscription. And maybe you'll mispronounce words just like I do all the time.
Except don't mispronounce the promo code. Otherwise, you won't get it.
SIPS 10.
Mm-hmm.
The number 10, not the letter 10.
Yes, not the word. The letter 10.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Isaiah's had too much mezcal.
Mezcal Halloween, as he would say.
Halloween, baby.
Now, before we dive into our news segment, I actually want to bring up a listener's question that was sent to us at our Silver Screen Sips email from someone named Hannah B. Hi, Hannah B.
Hi, Hannah.
Hi, Hannah.
She says, hi, Lewis, Isaiah, and Beth. I love your guys' show. Thank you. And I had a question for all three of you. Isaiah and Beth, what made you guys get into film? And Lewis, what made you get into mixology? Thanks so much, and cheers, Hannah B.
Short answer, I'm an alcoholic.
At least he's honest.
Yeah.
No, okay. Realistically, in college, yes, like most college kids who go through that phase, it kind of become an alcoholic or a borderline alcoholic.
Jack Daniels and beer kegs, baby.
It was never the beer cakes for me. It was always like the bottles or stuff at parties and stuff like that. I never really drank a lot of beer. I started to get to that when I got a little older and started to get out of the frat boy phase, I guess is what you would call it. But for me, I mean, I think what really started to get me into it, aside from occasionally watching like different restaurant shows, like Hell's Kitchen or Bar Rescue or things like that, I think what started to really get me into it was just like I started to see how some of my friends prepared cocktails in bars in Ybor. I started to see cocktails that I would order at different restaurants, especially like if I went to like nicer places like Seasons 52, which they do a really cool take on a whiskey drink. I can't remember which one I'm referring to right now. But they put literal like a stick. It's like a big old rock candy of sugar in it.
Ooh.
It's dope.
I love candy.
Yeah, and so aside from like perceiving that, enjoying the drinks myself, I also just thought at one point kind of starting to like make shots at my friends' parties. I don't know. I kind of just got fascinated with the idea of like how do people pair alcohol with different flavors? How do they pair wines with food? That sort of thing. And I feel like the working the restaurant business as long as I have has also fed into that. And then eventually I finally got my chance to actually be like trained as a bartender for a little while. Yeah, I would say that's how I got into it.
It's truly an art when you think about it.
A little bit. Again, with the pretentious.
Oh, that's all we are today.
We're very snooty. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's the pairing of foods, drinks, all that stuff. Like it's just interesting to think about. It really is artistic in many cases, especially when you talk about like the Michelin star chefs. But Isaiah, go ahead while I look up whatever the fuck word I'm trying to think of.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Kind of like
Oh my God.
kind of just fell into it. Back in the day, like when I was younger, me and my mom, we had tons of DVDs before Netflix was like the mainstay thing, right? This was back when Netflix had like DVDs. You order DVDs in the mail.
Listen, you can still do that. I just want people to know that.
Yes, you can. I can't believe they still have a mailing service, but they do. You can do that. But this is back when that was the main thing. There was no streaming service. There was no that wasn't their main thing. And so we usually went to like Walmart or Target or something like that. Got a bunch. We would just buy DVDs of movies that we thought were interesting, and then we just had a DVD collection. And of course, back in the day, during DVD collections, they had special features on them. And I don't know why, but like we always were fascinated by like how they made movies, the interviews, them telling them how they did their tips, little tricks and stuff like that, and how, yeah, what do you call it? This movie wouldn't have been made had we not figured out how to, build a ship or something crazy like that.
I don't mean to cut you off, but it's kind of ironic how now you do the fact segment where you talk a lot about how films are made and like the behind the scenes and it's basically the same as what you watched with your mom.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of just fell down a path and I was like, all right, well, this is very interesting. Let's see how this goes. And then I eventually started making like little YouTube videos. This is like stop motion with Legos and stuff like that because I was very young. And then I went to a art high school, and so kind of just fell deeper down the rabbit. Yeah, what do you call it? Fell deeper down the rabbit hole, and then eventually it was like, well, what do I want? It's time to go to college. What the hell do I want to do? Oh, the film program? Screw it, let's figure that out. And then here we are. I was like, that's what it is.
Then he met me.
Yeah, then I met her, and my life has been downhill ever since.
Wow! I should have seen that one coming.
But yeah, no, it was just really it just fascinated me like how a bunch of people can come together and make one giant thing that only lasts for like 2 hours when it takes like 3 years to put together. Yeah. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. That seems like fun.
Mm-hmm. Good answer.
What about you, Beth? How did you get into this madness?
I think I always was a huge film person, even like when I was a little kid. I liked making stupid little videos with my friends and stuff, like with my dad's camcorder.
Hell yeah.
And
you know what a camcorder is? I'm making that she's very young.
Yeah. And so as I grew up, I was like, oh, maybe I could do something like legitimately with it as like a career. And so I would say the only struggle I had was that I was homeschooled. So I wasn't able to do anything like go to a film high school or anything like that, or a fine arts institution or whatever until I got to college, which that even wasn't anything prestigious. But here I am and I made something out of it. So
hell yeah, brother.
Here you are.
Somewhat worked. So thank you for your question.
I hope we answered it.
I hope we answered it to your liking.
Yeah.
If not, you can send us another email saying we're idiots.
Yeah. If you don't like our answers, just, I don't know, subscribe to us or something. I don't know.
Wow.
If you hate us, that is.
Yeah. Yeah. If you hate us, subscribe. Pay us money.
That makes sense.
I hate pay you.
Now, shall we talk about what the fuck has happened in this past week in Hollywood?
A lot has happened, yes.
Lewis, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, welcome to everybody's favorite segment of the podcast. This week in Hollywood.
He says it perfectly every time.
This week in Hollywood. Well, we're going to start off with me today. To keep in theme with the season's franchise, Jamie Lee Curtis has stated and signed a document signaling that this will be her last time playing Laurie Strode from the Halloween series. The actress has been playing the iconic role for about 40 years, Starting at 19, director David Gordon Green agreed he felt Halloween Ends was the end of the road for the Queen of Scream. Halloween Ends is now on Peacock and in theaters if you want to catch it. And we will talk about it next week on Halloween Day.
I was going to say, watch it before we talk about it. That's for sure.
Because we will be talking about it next episode.
Hell yeah, brother.
On to sports with Lewis. We've switched jobs today.
Here I am with sports. In similar news, Halloween Ends opened this past week with the lowest box office out of the entire reboot trilogy. That's probably because it's trash. Despite it being number one with the best opening weekend since the film Nope, it is still the lowest debut for the franchise reboot's trilogy, with an opening weekend of $41.25 million. Although that sounds like a lot, it's not really that much if you're comparing it to the other two reboots, which opened with $76.2 million and $49.3 million for the box office weekend. Wah, wah.
I'm sure many of you have heard by now, but for those who don't know, Robbie Coltrane, the beloved man best known for his iconic role as Hagrid from Harry Potter, has recently passed away at the age of 72. The actor had been struggling with health issues for the past few years and died at a hospital near his home in Scotland. Many of Coltrane's peers have paid their tributes to him, as well as Universal Studios, who has put out bouquets of flowers near Hagrid's ride at Universal, along with near his hut. Rest in peace, Robbie.
Fun fact to add there to Mr. Coltrane, or should I say Sir Coltrane. He was awarded Most Excellent Order of the British Empire for his outstanding contributions to film at the British Academy of Scotland Awards in 2011.
What a man.
Right.
What a man. The Exorcist franchise has now begun filming for their own reboot of Halloween's relatively successful reboot trilogy. David Gordon Green, the director who also did the Halloween trilogy, is in charge of the Exorcist reboot. The reboot is also scheduled to be a trilogy and is set in the premiere October 13th, 2023, putting in just a few months ahead of the 50th anniversary of the original film. The original film has scarred my mother for life.
Same.
She cannot see the face of the victim of The Exorcist, I don't know her name, without freaking out and me hearing the traumatic story of watching that movie when she was a child. So I probably will not be watching this trilogy. We will see what happens. On to Lewis.
Everyone, vote for it.
Don't you dare! It will not happen.
It's either that or Saw. You got to pick one.
Nah. I'd rather watch Lord of the Rings.
Ow!
That's not even in the same league.
That really hurt. Lewis, continue.
So, on a non-horror note, Harrison Ford, your beloved Indiana Jones and Han Solo, has officially joined the MCU as Thaddeus Ross, aka Thunderbolt. He will be taking over for William Hurt, who was originally casted for the role. It does not appear, however, that Ford is set to star in Thunderbolts, Marvel's anti-hero team-up film that is scheduled to immediately follow Captain America 4: New World Order. Ford will be making his first debut as a long-awaited character in that same movie, Captain America 4: New World Order. And finally, we go back to Beth, who has the car chase scene.
Yes, last but not least, we have a continuation of the Ezra Miller saga. Just when you thought it was over, we are bringing it back.
It'll never end.
The actor, after being faced with 2 felony burglary charges, has officially pleaded not guilty after being claimed to have broken into someone else's home and stole 3 bottles of liquor. Miller, however, claimed that they entered the home, which was unoccupied at the time, to find ingredients needed for a recipe. If the actor is convicted of these crimes, they will face 26 years in prison, as well as over $2,000 in fines.
Oh, never mind. How expensive were those bottles of liquor? God dang.
Yeah, I know, for real.
But yes, that concludes This Week in Hollywood. You can find all of our sources cited on our Discord channel in the news article channel.
Yep,
that's what I get for going off script.
Congrats.
Anyways, Lewis, fucking save me.
Now we move on to your other favorite segment of the day, Big Lou's Big Brews. Woo!
Let's get to drinking.
Hell yeah, brother.
Let's crack into it.
Aside from our featured drink from the shaker and spoon box, I actually was able to find a cocktail today. It's been very hard to do so for the Halloween series. Most of the ones that will pop up are just the Michael Myers cocktail that I told you guys about. And I'm like, that's not. I need variety here. So I was actually able to find one on what looks to be a drink blog referred to as twinstakeover.com. I'm going to shout out the people here at the bottom. I believe the author of the blog is a young woman named Melina. And with the help of her friends, Lucy, Nani, Corey, and Mel, she was able not only to choose her films, because there is also a few other drinks listed on this blog that we're not going to get into. Not only choose the drinks and how they paired with the film, but also choose the liquors and recipes. So, without further ado, we have the Evil Dies Tonight drink.
Oh, God.
I know.
That's the name of the episode. Evil Dies Tonight. I want to die tonight.
I want to die tonight. That's cool.
Ooh, trendy.
Trendy. We all know the movie Halloween is arguably the horror movie of the Halloween season. This October, the cast of the original 70s horror movie classic are coming back to give us a thrilling sequel. Jamie Lee Curtis's character leaves serial killer Michael Myers, my fave horror movie villain, I might add. This is, of course, Melina speaking. Trapped in her burning basement in hopes to kill and end him for the final time. Somehow, yet again, Michael escapes the burning flames. This fiery twist on a classic apple cider drink symbolizes Michael's resilience against anything standing in his way to continue his bloody rampage. I like the description there. That was cool.
I like apple cider.
This year, Jamie Lee, as well as other survivors of Michael's monstrosities, are rising up together in hopes to kill Haddonfield's infamous murderer once and for all. So, our ingredients, oh my God, our ingredients are going to be 2 ounces of apple cider.
Yum.
2 ounces of Fireball.
Oh, God.
And top it off with Brut champagne.
What?
You're gonna mix your Fireball and your apple cider in a shaker with ice. And then you're gonna pour that into a glass and then top it off with your champagne.
What a weird combination.
I mean,
not really, in my opinion.
It reminds me. I mean, aside from the addition of the Fireball, it reminds me of a mimosa.
It's apple and cinnamon.
Yeah. It also reminds me. No, you know what it reminds me of? Angry Ball. Got it. Angry Balls, for those of you who don't know, and yes, it is actually a shot you can order, or well, not a shot, a drink you can order. It is Angry Orchard with a shot of Fireball.
Interesting.
Yes.
What's this one called?
This one is called Evil Dies Tonight.
Right.
The Angry Orchard and the Fireball is called Angry Ball.
Angry Balls?
Yes.
I'm gonna, or actually, Lewis, why don't you tell us your rating, and then I'll jump onto mine because
I like the description. I'm concerned by the Fireball. Yeah. I don't drink that stuff anymore. I did once upon a time. I can tell you, warm Fireball is a horrible thing.
Oh God.
It's a horrible thing.
Yes. And I'm going to give it for preparation and for the simplicity of ingredients and just for, I guess, the fiery resilience that they were going for, I'm going to give it definitely like a 3.5.
3.5.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to totally hop on this.
Hop on this.
So I'm going to start with my rating. 5 out of 5.
Wow.
5 out of 5. Oh.
5 out of 5. For a few reasons. I love apple cider so much. I have actually never had Fireball. So I know I probably won't like that aspect, but I do like apple cider and I do like champagne. So I think altogether the 3 ingredients would be perfect. So I give it a 5 out of 5.
I volunteer that next time I'm able to visit you, I will make you either this or the Angry Balls.
Yes.
Angry Balls.
I would love to try some Angry Balls.
Wow. Enthusiasm.
The enthusiasm.
Anyway, Isaiah, your rating?
I cannot stand Fireball, so it's gonna be like a 1.5 out of 5 for me. Like the second you said Fireball, I was like, it's immediately going down. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I like Goldschlager.
I'll take that
I
champagne.
like Goldschlager, which is essentially Fireball. So I can't see why. I mean, it's a little less of a feeling, but
Sure.
if I like Goldschlager, then I know I like cinnamon flavored liqueur at least.
Sure. To throw in for the sake of the warm Fireball story. How old was I?
It was a mistake.
No. I was trying to figure out. This was like early college when I was still here in South Florida before I went up to USF. So my friends and I, we were having a party. I took some other friends home, and then I came back to play shot roulette with some of the other people that were still staying at the house. And basically what we did was you had to guess what the concoction was, because we had this little roulette wheel full of like little shot glasses, and it could have just been something as simple as Coke or Sprite or tequila. What do you call it? And then or even water. Honestly, you just like you had to just dip, take the shot and guess.
A shot of water.
Right. Yeah, but you had to take the shot and guess, and if you got it wrong, you had to take a shot of tequila and Fireball.
Oh
my God.
The problem was we left them on the counter. So they were. I think it was like you had the choice of taking either a shot of tequila or a shot of Fireball, and then there was like one that if you guessed it, like one specific one that if you guessed it wrong, you'd do the double.
I would immediately lose.
Warm Fireball and tequila sounds like the worst.
I hate tequila so much. I would immediately not play the game.
Yeah. I mean, I would change it up for you, Beth. It's fine, but.
No.
I would just go get your 151 or whatever the hell it was. Your hurricane proof.
Hurricane proof.
Overall, this drink gets, I think, a 3 out of 5 from the three of us.
I said 5. You said 3.5.
I did say 3.5, and then Isaiah said 1.5.
A half.
Yeah. The half is for the champagne.
Our next drink, which is going to be our feature from the Mezcal Halloween box, is called the Tumen Bloom.
The Tumen Bloom?
Yes, this is our sponsored drink.
A bloomin' onion?
So Tumen Bloom. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. The words of Edgar Allan Poe's unnamed narrator. Wow, I can't speak. Narrator.
Lou, take it away from her.
Rationalizing his murderous fixation. And a passage that illustrates Danny Ronan's state of mind leading up to the creation of this monument to Mezcal's green and earthy side. Feverishly pouring over ingredients around the clock, he landed on a beautifully bitter and floral combination of artichoke leaves and lemon verbena, and a touch of aromatic chocolate to anchor it all to the very depths. Now, for the ingredients, you're going to want 2 ounces of the Mezcal Joven, which is our liqueur for the box, I suppose you could say, right?
Yeah, I would say.
You will also need a 1/4 ounce of the Telltale Artichoke Heart Syrup, which is included in our shaker and spoon box. You have 3 dashes, not drops, it says in parentheses, so that's important, of chocolate bitters. You have 2 spritzes of orange oil and 1 forget-me-not flour. You're going to add these ingredients to a dry mixing glass. Fill the glass with ice and use a bar spoon to stir for 5 to 10 seconds. Or if you'd prefer to stir longer for more dilution, you can, which will mellow out the bite of the spirit and open up the other flavors and aromas. Keep in mind that the drink will also continue to evolve in the glass as your ice melts, which I noticed when I made mine. Strain it into a rocks glass over a large ice cube. Spray the orange oil over the top of the drink and rest the forget-me-not on top of the cube. And that is how you make the Tumen Bloom. I personally really liked this one. I liked this one more than our last one, which was the Curse of the Black Bramble. So I gave this a 4.5 stars out of 5.
4.5.
Now, if this was a different liquor that like I drink normally, so like whiskey or something, I probably would have given it a lower rating. But the fact that it was tequila and that it made me question my tastes and my preferences Well, it made me question if I actually didn't like tequila or not because it was that good. Like the tequila, like the drink was that good that I was like, maybe I do like tequila.
Right.
It did have a nice combination of the orange and the chocolate, which was really good. And the little forget-me-not flower was adorable on top. That was like a nice little fancy touch. It was also just really smooth. You know, like I didn't make a face afterwards. That's how I knew it was good. Yeah, I'd give it a 4.5. Wow. I would drink it again. And I can drink it again. What about you guys? What would you rate it?
I'm going to give it a full 5 out of 5.
Wow.
And I'm going to base that on 3 things here. Mezcal and tequila are, despite the fame for their bite and for the 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor, despite the fame for that, they're actually, you can make some very unique and flavorful cocktails using tequila and mezcal that I think it has a broader range than most other liquors do, especially with blending with different flavors. I also want to point out the other 2 things that kind of put it up there for me. The Edgar Allan Poe reference.
Yes.
His number is the first thing. But the second thing is, I want to say, like, from the description and from your experience as well, it's the perfect example of what mixology tries to do as far as like evolving drinks and the blends of flavors and aromas and all these other things.
It makes it more about, like, it makes it more than just about getting drunk, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing with mixology. It's more about just, drinking and enjoying it. It's also like recognizing, wow, you can blend different ingredients and flavors and like things that you just don't really sound appealing until you try it, and it'll surprise you. And it could even, as you said, like make you question whether or not you like a certain liquor, because people go their whole lives being like, I hate whiskey, and I'm like, let me give you this, and they'll be like, actually, that's really good. So like when I make green tea shots, people are always like, I hate whiskey, and I was like, take this, and then they're like, what the fuck though?
I didn't know something so terrible could taste so good.
That's such a good rating. Isaiah, what about you?
Oh, I'm going to be honest. I have no clue what any of these items are, which is a good reason to have shaker and spoon, because then I can learn what all these things are, because I've never heard of an artichoke heart syrup. I know
Neither have
I have.
I mean, just think if from someone who tried it, it's very orange and chocolate forward with a hint of tequila. But you can barely taste the tequila, honestly.
That is definitely my kind of drink. So I might give it like a 4 out of 5, because I think that sounds exactly right up my alley.
Wow.
Is now forget-me-not flour? Is that an actual flour?
It is. It's more so to, like, I didn't notice any difference in flavor with the flour. I think it's more of just a decoration or a garnish. Yeah. But it is an actual flour, but they were dried. So it wasn't like, like the flower petals weren't like melting into the drink. It was a nice hint of purple. They're very pretty. I like forget-me-nots. Actually, I believe the ones that I have had in my drink were purple, like a more purplish color, whereas forget-me-nots, I think, are more blue.
Yeah, forget-me-nots are going to have more of this like light blue
and yellow.
But when they get dried out, obviously the dehydration is going to change the color. And then there's a few in this other one that are also purple. So it may be that they bloom at a certain point to be fully blue, but they transition from the purple color first. There we go.
Thank you for the lobotomy. What's it called?
The botany?
Lobotomy?
No, botany.
Oh, botany.
Botany. Botany course. Jesus, not the lobotomy course. I am so sorry.
Sounds like you had one.
Yeah. Man.
And that
it seems like we have a good, it seems like we have a relatively same rating. I mean, at least an average, averagely good. That's a new term.
Averaging out to an excellent rating, yeah.
Averagely above average. Okay. Well, thank you, Shaker and Spoon, for the lovely drink. And I can't wait to try next week's, which is a surprise.
Surprise!
Anyways, thank you for your drink as well, Lewis, that you found on that on the article that you read.
Yes.
I don't know what it was. I forgot.
I think it's a drink blog or something.
Yes.
Yes, our fellow alcoholics on the internet.
So yes, I have a question for my question of the day segment.
Woo!
Beth's question of the day. Thank you. Now, I have a question, and here it is. How long do you think you'd last in a horror movie? Now, you don't get to decide. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I will have both of you. I have a quiz that I found that I had to search far and wide for a good one because a lot of them were like BuzzFeed leveled quizzes where it's like, pick your favorite slice of pizza. And it's like, how does that have anything to do with surviving a horror movie? But I found a decent one. So I already took it. So I have my answer, but I will share it after I take it for you guys. So who wants to go first?
Me.
Great. Okay, Lewis, your first question. It's midnight and you're watching a show on your TV. You see a figure standing in front of your window. What would you do?
Is this multiple choice or?
I just want to hear your answer. And then I'll just pick the one that's closest to it.
I mean, I hope I have a weapon. I'm taking a shot.
So you would grab a weapon is what you're saying?
I mean, it depends. Like if I see a figure in the window, I'm probably going to try and like intimidate them myself. But if I realize that they're, twice my fucking height,
Big Lou,
I'm going to call the cops or something.
Big Lou's becomes Small Lou in this case.
All right, so which would you say is more along the lines then? Would you call for help or would you grab a knife?
Call for help.
Okay. Next question. Your window is smashed in. What do you do?
I'm not staying in the house. The fuck?
Okay, so then where do you go?
It's anywhere but there.
do you go to your car? Do you go to like the nearest public location? Do you go to your neighbor's house? Where do you go?
Nearest public location. I don't feel like my neighbors are safe either.
I don't trust those bastards.
They're gonna shoot me on sight.
All right.
Yeah, they're gonna be just as scared as I am and shoot me when I open the door.
This one I will give you choices. Pick a weapon: chainsaw, a rake, a machete, or an axe.
Machete.
It's a sharp rake, might I add.
You mean like a pitchfork?
In case that made you change your mind. Yeah, it's a pitchfork. It's not a fucking rake. God damn it! I'm looking at photos. Okay, cut me some slack. It's a fucking pitchfork.
It's a sharp rake.
It's a sharp rake. Okay, pick. What do you want?
I said machete.
Machete. Okay, you just witnessed the killer swipe their weapon at your friend. Do you help them?
No.
Whoa.
All right.
No? Is that an honest answer?
I mean, if it's Michael Myers I'm looking at, I know there's nothing that's gonna happen. There's nothing that I can do, really.
Sorry, Jacob.
unless I'm like fucking at the this is a spoiler for the episode, so no, never mind. Yeah. It really I want to say it depends on the situation.
So would you say you would try to help as much as you can, or you're out of there?
I'm going to try to help if it's reasonable. If it's going to get me killed at the same time, then it's like, well, what was the point?
Fair. Okay. You just finished shopping and you're walking to your car late at night. You hear a strange noise coming from behind you. What do you do?
I'm going to ask who's playing my theme music. Thanks. I'm walking to my car and I hear a strange noise.
Behind you specifically.
Where was I originally?
You were just leaving the store. So you're leaving the store, heading to your car, and you hear a noise behind you.
I would like to go back to the store somehow.
Okay, so you'd run back into the store?
I'd try to, yeah.
Okay.
This sounds like a D&D campaign.
It really does. You have to roll 10 for initiative. You just stabbed the killer in the chest, who is now laying on the ground motionless. What is the next action you take?
I'm cutting that fucker's head off.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. So you take another jab at him?
Yeah.
All right.
If I still got my machete, I'm cutting his head off, bro.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Or you are almost done. You're in the woods running away from the killer and you see a house in the distance. What would you do?
Get to the house.
Do you go inside? Do you hide inside? Do you bang on the door for help? What are you doing to that? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna try and get inside.
Okay.
And if it's anything like the compound, then I'm locking up. But I'm sure he's gonna get in anyway.
True. All right. You are heading to bed, but you hear a noise coming from downstairs. Fuck that. You're home alone and nobody has access to your house. You head downstairs to check if anyone is there, but there is no one there. What do you do?
leaving the house.
It's not for a late night drive, you know?
Yeah, that's not an option here. So
What are my options?
you go back to your room and you go back to sleep. See if anyone's upstairs. You make yourself known or you hide downstairs.
I'd probably hide downstairs if that's the case. I mean,
Okay. A masked killer has you cornered, making it difficult to escape. What action would you take to escape their clutches?
what are my options?
Punch them in the jaw or the chest, poke their eyes out, or kick them in the genitals.
Being that these supernatural killers don't feel it when you kick them in the nuts, I'm going to try and go for his eyes.
Okay.
I feel like that was
Also could be a female.
Okay, her eyes. Sorry, their eyes.
Yeah.
Equality and murder.
Yes.
Equality and murder and monsters.
Girls can be murderers too. Good one. Last question to determine if you survive. Pick a hiding location out of the 4. I want you to answer as quickly as you can so you can really put yourself in the shoes of I have to hide from the killer right away. Okay? Think fast. Closet, bed, couch, storage chest.
Storage chest.
Okay. All right, Lewis. Do you want to hear if you made it or not?
I'm pretty sure I didn't.
You did not. You're fucking dead.
Fucking dead.
It said you may have made some smart decisions, but your poor decisions ultimately led to your death.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Isaiah. Let's see if you can make it out. I would laugh if Isaiah's the only one that makes it out.
Right.
All right, Isaiah.
Yeah.
You're watching your favorite TV show on television, and it's midnight, and you see a figure standing in your window. What do you do?
I grab my gun.
Okay. Let's say you don't have a gun.
I don't got a gun. Then I'm already dead.
You want to grab a knife instead?
Yeah, sure. Go grab a knife.
Great. I really do feel like this is D&D. Your window's smashed in. What do you do?
Like I'm walking up to my house and my window smashed in, or like I'm inside my house and suddenly hear a window smash.
No, you're inside. You hear a window smash, and you see it smashed in.
I see it smashed in. I'm running the hell away. I'm getting the hell out of there.
Where are you going?
What are the options?
Public location, neighbor's house, or just to your car?
Public location.
Okay. Pick a weapon. Sharp break, axe, machete, or chainsaw.
Machete or chainsaw? We'll go with machete.
Now, you just witnessed the killer swipe at your friend. Do you help them?
What do you call it? Same as Lou. If I'm sitting there and I see... Okay, wait, actually, you know what? In this hypothetical, how far...
He said, actually, you know what? Fuck them.
How far into this movie are we? Like, am I like, this is the third friend that's just been killed?
Isaiah, it is an online quiz. I can't tell you.
In your hypothetical, in your like mind, like, what are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking this is at the climax of the movie.
Climax of the movie? Hell no, I'm getting the hell out of there. Sorry.
Okay. You just finished shopping and you're walking to your car late at night. You hear a strange sound behind you. What do you do?
Walk faster.
Okay. You just stabbed the killer in the chest, who's now laying on the ground motionless. What is the next action you take?
Get the hell out of there.
Okay. You're in the woods running away from the killer and you see a house in the distance. What do you do?
Breaking the house.
Okay. You're heading to bed and you hear a noise coming from downstairs. You are home alone and nobody has access to the house. You head downstairs to check if anyone's there. What do you do?
I call the cops.
Not an option.
Not an option? Oh, great. That's a stupid option. Looks like well, actually, what am I doing? What's the options?
Make yourself known, see if anyone's upstairs, go back to your room and sleep, or hide downstairs.
Realistically, I'm thinking this is like towards the beginning of the movie. I'd probably end up going back to sleep. But that's gonna kill me. So I'm going to make myself known.
Okay. A masked killer has you cornered, making it difficult to escape. What action do you take?
Run in the opposite direction.
Where are we hurting them?
Where are we hurting them?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What are we aiming for?
We're aiming for the eyeballs, bro.
Okay.
Last but not least. I can't see me.
Last but not least, quick decision time. Quick time
event. Let's go.
Quick time event. Pick a hiding location: under a bed, in a storage chest, behind a couch, or in a closet.
Behind a couch.
Wow, that was a terrible choice.
I mean,
what do you call it? You survived?
Yeah, baby, let's go.
What the fuck? You bitch. You made it. We knew you would. Your wise choices led to your survival. You hid behind a goddamn couch.
For a quick getaway, bro. If I'm stuck in a closet, I ain't going nowhere. I'm dying.
What the fuck? All right. I died, in case you didn't know. I didn't make it either. So, hey, Lewis, how you doing?
Hey.
You guys enjoying the afterlife?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that just means you got to keep surviving, you know?
The plot twist of the century. I'm one of the final girls.
Oh.
He's Lori.
Virgin. I'm sorry. I had to make the joke. Gotta do what you gotta do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for entertaining me.
Here are my facts, and the fact is I survived.
Do you have a lot today? Is it less than usual?
It's less than usual. I'm surprised actually at the amount I did find because,
Really?
obviously, I'm just very surprised at the amount I did find. But let's get into them. So, because Michael Myers was stabbed in the eye in the first film, by the coat hanger.
Ah, yes, a good old poke.
Yeah, a little poke. His little pee poke. And he got his eye poked out.
Mm-hmm.
James Jude Courtney, our favorite hitman's roommate, he would wear an eye patch while practicing for the movements and stuff like that to be more authentic. Because obviously, he wouldn't be able to see a lot from the right eye, so he has to move around, and so he would wear an eye patch to make it seem more authentic that he can't see that way.
Huh? I mean, that's method acting, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
this man James Jude Courtney, man. What do you call it? That guy is dedicated. He is dedicated. I'm 100% sure he would probably kill a man just to know how it feels, so he can portray it correctly.
Oh my god.
Pretty much.
Our next fact is the flashback scenes. So the flashback scenes are the lighting was made to match the 1978 lighting. Like they use a lot of harsh shadows, a lot of no backlights and stuff like that because of the limited amount of lights they had back in the day. So everything was kind of done in a specific way. So the cinematographer tried to match that as best as he could, and then adding film grain in post to make it look like it was filmed straight out of that in 1978, and they just kind of like had lost footage. So
I honestly thought that they just took like old footage from the original. I'm not joking, which makes no sense now that I think about it.
Yeah, they got modern actors.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was pretty good. I think they did a pretty good job. It did look exact. It did look like it was. I probably, if had I not known the actors that were in the scene, I probably would have believed it. Some of them things. If you notice in the flashback scenes, the original Loomis, Donald Pleasance, he pops up. Actually, Donald Pleasance has been dead since 1995.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what the fuck?
So instead of using CGI effects to bring him back, they're like, well, they happened to find a man named Tom Jones, who was the head of set construction, who looked exactly like him. That
wasn't even CGI or like
it wasn't
comping from like an old video. That was like just a dude. Wow,
just a dude. Tom Jones, who's the head of set of construction, just happened to look exactly like him to the point where all they had to do was put a few like prosthetics on his face, like to make his nose look correct and like some of his and some of the hair. That was it, and he looked exactly like him. Like I was surprised. I didn't know he was dead until I read this.
That's amazing.
And then so I was like, holy crap. The guy did a good job, though.
Oh, yeah.
Very
convincing. I mean, I was convinced.
Yeah,
I was convinced, too. I honestly thought what they did was almost like they decided they had already shot this kind of scene because they were planning some other version of the film, and then they kind of just used old footage. But no, that's even more impressive.
Fun fact, for the first movie, John Carpenter said that they didn't plan on making a movie, and Donald Pleasance was actually the one who said, "How do you want me to play the scene where he falls off
balcony?"
The balcony, yeah. Donald Pleasance was like, "How do you want me to play it? Do you want me to play it as in like I don't know?" Like I was, he's disappeared. I expected that, or what do you call it? He's not. He's gonna die. I did my job, and and then John Carpenter was like, "Give me both," and they were like, "Yeah, the one where he's like, I knew this would happen," is the one they went with, and so it just happened to work out that we have a bunch of sequels now.
Yeah,
fair.
So before Kyle Richards, who plays Lindsay, she is the original actress, the original child from the original Halloween that witnesses the babysitter murders. So they brought her back. You know the scene where she's getting chased by Michael Myers in the park?
Yes.
Yeah. So before she could hide, she was gonna hide in that tree, right? As he walks across the bridge. Well,
a very Lord of the Rings kind of moment there.
Yeah.
So that river right there was actually infested with alligators. So they had to bring in a special crew to keep an eye out for
Where
the
the fuck
alligators.
did they film this? Florida?
No. It's in Illinois, I think.
They have
the map.
alligators in Illinois?
I'm not sure where they filmed this. It might be Illinois, or I might be getting confused because they used a map of Illinois to show the map of the town. But
either way,
yeah. The area was infested with alligators, so they had to bring in a special team to make sure there are no alligators in the water before they started filming.
How do you even go about that? Do you just kind of wade through the water and hope for the best?
Yeah, it was just 3 dudes wading through the water with sticks, kind of poking at it.
Oh my god.
So, Paul Rudd, we're going to take a weird spin here. Paul Rudd plays an adult Tommy Doyle in The Return of Michael Myers, one of the previous movies that are not canon to this timeline.
I didn't know that.
The child that Laurie Strode babysat in the first movie, that's who he's playing, the older version of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, however, in this movie, it's not played by him. It's played by Michael C. Hall, who he took over the role because they had originally offered Paul Rudd to take up that role again. He had to turn it down due to his schedule with Ghostbusters Afterlife, so he wasn't able to come back for the movie. But he did say he would love to do it, but he wasn't able to.
Damn.
Now, an odd thing, a petition when the movie was when the trailers dropped, there was a petition to remove the firefighter murder scene from the beginning of the movie.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for the parts in the trailer you saw. The scene depicts the murder of firefighters responding to the house fire that is set from the first movie. According to the petition, the scene is offensive because of the tactic has been used to cause harm to real firefighters. It is wrong because firefighters have been lured to house fires and murdered by people who set the fire. It's wrong that Michael killed the firefighters with the gear from other firefighters he killed. There is no reason for that horrible, disgusting scene.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, this
isn't it.
This petition was started by a soon-to-be firefighter whose parents were firefighters. Retired firefighters, by the way. They're not dead, as far as I knew from the articles. So yeah, but the petition, I don't know how many people signed the petition. I wasn't able to find it.
Clearly not enough.
Yeah, but obviously the petition started. I do think it's kind of weird. Like, sure, all right, start the petition. You call it freedom of speech. Everybody can do what they need to do, but it's kind of weird to be like, hey, this was very kind of vague thing has happened in the past and in the entire history of man, and now you can't put it in because it's offensive.
It's a horror movie.
I know. It's kind of a horror movie.
Isn't that like the basis for all movies at that point?
Yeah, like these are all movies about a serial killer. And do you know how many serial killers there have been?
Or like slavery happened, so you can't make movies like Roots and 12 Years a Slave.
It just seems off to me to be like, hey, I find this offensive, therefore the rest of humanity should find this offensive. So
yeah, just don't watch the movie.
Yeah, like just don't watch the movie.
My brother is a firefighter, and I'm sure he doesn't give a shit.
Now, our last fact for today is kind of actually a statistic, and it pisses me off in the movie because it's so stupid. If you take a shot every time someone says "evil dies tonight," you'll end up taking 29 shots from the entire movie, and you'll probably be dead.
Whoa! I am taking that challenge.
You're gonna take 29 shots?
Yeah. You
do realize that's if you consider the chanting as one.
Oh.
Because there's multiple scenes where multiple people are chanting, and if they consider that one shot because they say it all together in unison.
Right.
So, but yeah, no, they say it a total of 29 times, and we'll get into the review part, but yeah, that exists. And those are all my facts for today.
Woo!
Thank you for your facts today, Isaiah.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, here we are with the moment you've all been waiting for. The franchise breakdown.
More like the franchise roast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go first. I'm gonna assume Beth liked this actually, but
I'm gonna keep quiet until you're done.
Keep quiet.
I'm gonna keep quiet.
I'm gonna start with. So I remember I messaged you guys when I was watching the movie that I had two particular gripes with 2 different kills that occurred.
Mm-hmm. Was it the firefighter scene?
No, I did have an opinion on that, but that's not what I'm referring to here. The first one that I'm like, it wasn't even so much the kill, it was the choice of weapon. When he grabs the light bulb, like the one of those fucking fluorescent light bulbs, and cracks it in half, or like cracks the tip.
Oh yeah.
My first gripe came with one. If you even blink wrong holding one of those, that thing will shatter like a martini glass.
Yeah, that thing doesn't just break. That thing explodes.
That thing explodes into billions of pieces. So there's no way that, especially someone with Michael's strength, would have just broken the end of it and then stabbed her in the neck. Fine, whatever.
It ruined my immersion.
Yeah, I for a second it did, honestly. If I'm being real, for a second I was like, that's too much movie magic type deal for this to be like a realistic kill. Like, it would have made sense if he broke a bottle, for fuck's sake. Like, if he grabbed the wine bottle and broke that shit and then stabbed her. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I also think of the same scene, the overkill it was the old dude being able to talk after glass went through his fucking throat.
Yes.
What the fuck, guys? Come on. So those are my two like moments that I was like, this isn't, you had me for a second, but now it's not great anymore. Although I did think it was kind of funny that Michael kind of just threw the drone back into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like a fucking angry cat. Just now on to something else. On our last episode, when we talked about the other movie, we're gonna mention how he's gone up significantly in the number of kills he does every movie we've watched. So in the first one, the original, he kills a total of 5 people.
Mm-hmm. Rookie numbers.
Right? In the 2018 movie, I counted 17 because I included the security guards, but I think the official wiki says it's 15.
Okay.
This movie, if you don't count the flashback when the cop is being strangled, and if you don't count the patient who commits suicide, it's 32 people.
Woo!
Yeah,
it's almost double. Or that is double.
Yeah, just about, or just shy of double. If you counted the other two, then it would have been 34, and then it's exactly double. The whole story around that one patient who hadn't been found and him showing up at the hospital and then jumping off the building.
Mm-hmm.
You could have removed that from the movie entirely.
Oh, I 100% agree. That really felt like a waste of runtime and also nothing to do with the story. I don't even know what his name was.
No, I don't know what his name was either. All you see is him saying, "Help me," and then they're all like, "Evil dies tonight."
So what David Gordon Green and Danny McBride were going for some reason was Michael's, like, his not impression, but the effect that he had on the town. So they're like, okay, the first movie is going to be about Laurie versus Michael, right? Like, that's the effect that Michael and Laurie have had on each other for the last 40 years. Now it's time for the people of Haddonfield. Every time.
God damn it.
Haddonfield had on the effects that Michael's had on Haddonfield. And so they were going for like mob mentality and like the insanity that he's kind of bringing about on them and stuff like that. Odd choice, like an odd focus. I'll give them an A for creativity. I just don't think it worked.
I don't think they did a great job at portraying that because I didn't really grasp that.
Yeah, me neither until they said it. And I was like, okay, I guess I can kind of see it after they said it. But like, if I didn't go like look for it, then I'm gonna be like, well, what the hell was any of that?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they even state it towards the end of the movie, you know, like talking about it in all these cutscenes, like why did you make it so glaringly obvious at that point? Why didn't you just keep it as you were going? And I think that's another thing I take issue with and as far as the writing, like, the film is a horror film, right? It's not a gore porn and everyone should be ashamed of mob mentality film. But and that's I think that was the other thing that kind of like threw me off too, was like, this was definitely like more of a gore porn film. They've really ramped up like how some of the kills went through, like the dude who got stabbed in the fucking eye. That was made me cringe a little. The other kill that happens in that scene was the dumbest fucking kill I've seen in any fucking movie.
Are you talking about the gun?
Yes, when he kicks the door and the gun shoots her in the face. Are you fucking?
They were very proud of that kill, by the way.
It was so fucking dumb. That one actually like pissed me off watching it. I was like, "Are you for real?"
Yeah, they were very proud of that one.
I'm ashamed that they were.
I'm ashamed that they're proud. Beyond
that, yeah, like, shout out for the brutality. Sure, you really stepped it up a notch, but story trash. So I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5.
Oh,
Damn.
wow. Lewis very rarely rates that low.
Yeah.
I will go because I know I have a feeling Beth has higher things to say about this movie. Or unlike me, I gave this movie a 2 out of 5. It's like I said before, the idea. They got an A for effort in the idea of what they were trying to portray. I just don't think they did it right. I don't know how else they could have made it. I don't think it was the best course of action or like even the best like plot that they could have given this movie. I don't know what to say. I really don't.
He says, case in point.
Oh, by the way, FYI, I watched the extended edition of this movie.
There's an extended edition?
There is.
Jeez.
So when the movie originally came out, I was very excited. So I watched it. I watched the original version and I was like, okay, this is disappointing. And usually, you know how like some movies, when the extended edition comes out, they're like, okay. So these like the director's cuts will have more context for scenes. There'll be more dialogue. There'll be more explanations. I think the best example to give would be the extended director's cut versus the theatrical cut of Donnie Darko. Donnie Darko, the original like theatrical cut wasn't well received, and it's kind of understandable. Like some of the concepts are kind of weird and like weren't explained properly. But the extended cut gets actually deep and kind of explains what they were actually going, like what the hell is happening sometimes. So it's still impressionistic, but it still gives you enough information. Where the theatrical cut doesn't give you enough information.
Mm-hmm.
The director's cut is so much better. That's what I was going in expecting with the extended edition of this movie, because I expected at least maybe it'll give me a new perspective or new context or anything like that. It did not. In fact, after the movie, I was so pissed off at how bad it kind of actually how worse it seemed than the theatrical cut. I was like, okay, what actually changed? And I go into it, and it turned out the only difference between these two movies is 5 minutes. And the only reason it's 5 minutes is because every scene, every action scene, every kill scene actually has about maybe an extra 1 to 2 seconds added, which I don't understand why that would make a difference. And a 6-second alternate quote unquote with an asterisk ending. That was it. That was the only difference. There was no extra. There's maybe like I don't even think there was a scene or two. Like even the alternate scenes were just extra, like an extra shot. That was it.
Mm.
So we'll go with my original notes, but like. The kills were way more brutal. I'll give it that. They did go a little fancy with the kills. They got kind of wild and crazy. They knew they had to up the ante again, and they did. I think the go look, hell no exchange was probably the most realistic response in this entire movie. Because that's exactly what I would say. I'd be like, I ain't going over there. A lot of people, they kind of run in these situations, and like nobody calls the cops. The first reaction I would have to most of these things that are going down, I would be like, hey, I'm going to call a cop. There's someone, I heard something in my house and there's a killer on the loose. I'm calling a cop. Oh, what do you call it? There's some loud banging and there's a guy in the back seat of my car. I'm going to call the cops. I'm not going to grab everybody in the bar to go beat the crap out of him. Like, what is everybody thinking here?
It's Haddonfield.
Haddonville.
Oh my God.
Not even just that, but also thinking like, Michael's in the back seat of my car. Let me send a bar full of men who cannot fight Michael.
And who are kind of drunk, probably.
It felt like a filler episode of a TV show, but things happened that are kind of important. And so you kind of have to watch it and you can't skip it.
Oh, right. Yes, I did see a review.
So that's what my thoughts were on this movie. But yeah, and to explain the discrepancy between like the extended edition and the regular version, the only difference between that ending and the alternate ending, quote unquote, asterisk, is that the spoiler alert, obviously, Laurie's daughter gets killed. She gets a few more slashes and there's a few more shots of her getting slashed. And then Laurie is in the hospital and calls her on the phone. And then she hears Michael's breathing and she says, "I'm coming for you." Right. And that's it. That's
so it's the same ending, but Laurie is there.
Yeah, except they added breathing and she calls him. That's it. That's the only, and there's an extra shot of Karen getting stabbed. That's literally it. And I was like, wow, this was if anybody paid extra money to watch this extended edition, they wasted their money and their time.
Damn.
So yeah, I don't think the movie was good. I'll give it A for creativity, A for effort, and then an F and everything else.
So you gave it a 2?
I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
Yeah, Beth. Let's see the stake.
So I gave it a 5 out of 5. I'm just kidding. No, I gave it I gave it 3.5. It's definitely my favorite out of all of them so far, actually.
God, why?
I will tell you why. So, as much as I didn't like Tommy Doyle's actor, he was just eh. I did like Lonnie's actor choice, Robert Longstreet, who was in, he's in a lot of Mike Flanagan's projects. So, like Haunting of Hill House. He was in Midnight Mass, which is, as you guys know, one of my favorite shows. And I think he's super underrated. And I was happy to see him in this movie, which reminds me, I also just like the grown-up ties in that they brought the kids from the originals back into the story to see how like they were impacted by Michael, because we never really get to see that in the original film. So it's like, oh, we get to kind of see the aftermath.
Kind of sucks they'd all just die.
I know. That's one of my cons. I will say, seeing Michael Myers walk out of a house on fire with, what did he have in his hand? An axe or something?
No, it was the thing you used to jack open doors.
Yes. And just standing there was fucking badass.
That is true. The opening of this movie is like...
The opening of the movie was amazing.
Yeah.
Opening was intimidating, yeah.
The music also was amazing. I'm surprised you didn't touch on that at all, Isaiah.
After the first movie, I feel like all the music's starting to sound the same.
Yeah, I will agree. I just think it was still very good. Good soup.
Good soup.
I will say the deaths were amazing. Well, let me rephrase that. The deaths were brutal, and they definitely topped it from the last one. Like, yes, some of them were a little exaggerated and theatrical, but that's kind of the whole concept of the movie is you kind of have to look past that aspect, where it's like, yes, I get like the fluorescent light thing that Lewis and I were talking about. Yes, if you did that, it would fucking explode. However, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for the sake of getting to see someone get stabbed by it. I have to say, I was not expecting Lonnie or Cameron to die, actually. I thought that they would be in the next one. But Cameron's death is brutal. That was one of the ones that made me cringe the most, where he was in the staircase, what is it, railing thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was pretty bad. I did not like like we talked about the inmate. I thought the whole inmate plot was pointless and just felt like an excuse to lengthen the runtime. Jacob, did you write a note on here? He wrote, "Who the fuck spells Allison with a Y?"
Oh yeah, I didn't do that.
I was like, I don't remember writing that. We'll leave that one in there. Fuck it. And then I also think that I didn't really care about the drone couple, is what I called them. The woman with a drone. I did not understand why she had a fucking drone. That just felt so random. And I get like that's kind of what they tend to do with a lot of these like random kills, like with the last movie where the kid's like, I just want to dance, Dad, where they try to kind of bring in some sort of sense of like, not lightheartedness, but it's just people. These are what average people would be doing. But it's just so weird to see that in a movie. So it's very like jarring to me. Yeah, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think mainly just because I gotta say I am a sucker for gore porn. So like saws and stuff. So yeah, sorry guys.
No, I mean, it's all good. I kind of expected that you were going to have a better rating.
Higher rating?
Yeah. The one last thing I want to say was I also was upset at all the hype they put on Tommy as being like, I'm going to fight Michael. I'm going to swing the bat on him.
Okay, he literally did nothing.
In 2 seconds.
Yeah, he did nothing. That was, I will say that was the only reason why I didn't get a 4 was because of that whole end sequence where he's just getting his ass kicked, meeting Myers. And then everyone just stops. Like, why did you stop? I would have decapitated the man like Lewis would in the quiz. Like, make sure he's dead because they all know he's fucking powerful. So why not make sure to finish the job? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact that he got shot 6 fucking times.
And just kept walking. Yeah.
And then beat with all that stuff and then stabbed in the neck. And then he's just like, I'm going to pull this out of my neck and stab the cop.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Not survive, apparently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening to today's episode. Our listeners episode is coming up soon. So send us those movie suggestions at silverscreensips@gmail.com. I believe it's the 7th of November is when the listeners episode comes out. So mark your calendars. You can also find us on our socials at Silver Screen Sips, and Twitter has Silver Screen Sip with no S. We will see you in next week's season finale, where we will talk about the brand new Halloween Ends that just came out only a few days ago. And Isaiah's already seen it.
I have already seen it. I'll keep my thoughts until the next episode. And trust me, you guys will want to hear them.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Oh my damn. Okay,
right.
Bickies.
Bye.
Bye.
Why?